You are going into the unknown. What's on the other side may know you're coming.
Today we got H&H Precision here for one of Ken Hagen's train-ups. It's part of when he sells a rifle, you get training with it.
What we do is once a year we set up a range day for our students to come out and shoot their H&H rifles. Something that we've been doing, this is our second year that we've been doing it. We have a big turnout coming out, so we've got a lot of setup time today that we have to get through.
This is the above average service that Ken does. Just a fantastic opportunity to marry a new shooter, or at least a shooter with a brand new gun.
Right now, I'm in the process of just getting some of the guns and products put together. A lot of these shooters haven't even seen their gun yet. I've probably got 9 guns here with me today that I brought with me that the shooters will actually, for the first time, get to see. I think what we want to do is probably pull the guns and the scopes out. Start getting some of these guns set up. Some of these guns don't have optics on them yet.
I could start mounting scopes and getting those ready.
Okay.
Maybe you could go get the 100-yard target set up,
yeah,
so we can start getting
I can do that, yeah.
Okay.
All in all, it's a great event. I think it's something that we give back to our community and the people that support our businesses and the firearm industry as a whole. Just because you have a rifle doesn't mean you know how to use a rifle. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that you can buy the nicest rifle in town, the most accurate rifle, and the greatest features on it, but if not put to proper use, it's no better than any other rifle you might have in your closet or gun safe.
We're going to set the targets out there. Somebody will be in the line, and we need to confirm we can see them from prone, sitting, kneeling, standing, so we can engage all of them. We're putting numbers on them so we can guide the shooters on them with ease and not trying to give them a rough estimate of where they're at. Okay,
right.
So that's what we'll do. One guy out there, at least one guy back on the line with optics so you can see it clearly and get it all set up. Then when we get to the mover, we'll just go out there, same thing, have somebody back here, make sure we got the right height so we can see the target. It's going to take us about 30 minutes or less, depending on how many people we got, and it's going to snap together just like an old HO train set.
Now, these movers are pretty nice to have, and even better to understand how to shoot moving targets. In the real world, whether it's hunting or combat or you name it, stationary targets are only stationary until the first shot goes off. Then what happens? Everything starts running, everything starts moving. Oftentimes you don't have a stationary target to start with, so learning how to shoot these movers is a very valuable asset in your ability to shoot. And just like that, we've got ourselves a moving target.
So this is a remote for our deluxe system here. This one has 120 foot of track. It goes 3, 6, and 9 miles an hour. Stop and go feature at 3 and 6 miles an hour. Reverse direction and erratic behavior, which it does all kinds of crazy stuff back and forth trying to keep up with it. The nice thing about these remotes is these are good out to 1,000 yards. So I can set this system up, have good line of sight, and hit this and it's almost instantaneous wherever we need to. And it's great for instructor because you can pick what you need to do.
What you really do is you get 100 yards, you get a 0, you go to the bottom, shoot the 0, come up 10 MOA, aim at the same 0, find out which side it is, and you rotate the scope. Now the scope will look crooked to you, but it will actually be tracking true at distance. So, yeah, there's a lot of shortcuts people like to talk about, but in the real world, they don't work out that great generally. I'm just going to go ahead and take the first couple shots, get them close. Then I'm going to take the gun, move it over, where Rick or Mike can help whoever we are getting the final zeros and getting in proper position and Getting your 100-yard zero in the prone position is what we're going to be doing, because that's what we're going to be primarily working on throughout the weekend.
I want you to come forward under the gun, put the gun on your shoulders, right? All right, and I want you to inchworm forward a little bit, put a little forward pressure on the bipod, okay?
This gives them a chance to come out here. We'll shoot out to, a mile. We'll shoot movers. I mean, we got a lot of different things to offer out here. We've got tank traps, barricades, tires, benches, towers and shoot houses. So we kind of mix things up for everybody so they have an opportunity to try a little bit of everything.
This morning we started off, did a little class on fundamentals of marksmanship.
If you can move your head around just a little bit and your crosshairs stay centered on the target, it means you have your parallax adjusted correctly, okay?
Okay.
So that's how you
I should
test.
be able to move my eye without the crosshairs.
Yes.
We follow that off by doing all prone shooting to get the guys their data from 100 out to 1,000. So once we got down into the prone, we got their zeros in. We did a little bit of rifle building, and what I mean by that is building the rifle up to the shooter.
When we come back,
everybody's pretty excited. A lot of guys shooting out a lot further than they ever thought they could, out past 1,000 yards.
this is Modern Shooter. This week, we're at the Rock Lake Rifle Range in St. John, Washington for a train-up session with H&H Precision Rifles.
Setting these classes up is just the same as setting up a match, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of foreplanning and thought. You send out a flyer and you have 40 people respond, and of that you might spend another 10 hours just responding to emails and people some questions about what they want to bring to the event, what they should show up with, what's the expectations. We've got guys out right now setting targets up, and we're arranging those. We're giving them numbers, so the students will come in. When we give them a number, they can go to that target, they can range it. Now we have a lot of camaraderie in the industry. We have a lot of our other businesses that we work with out here will show up, and they donate their time to come out and help us set up.
I've been working with Ken for the past 4 years, but I've been coming to his shooting clinics for the last 2 years.
He goes to the effort to get great instructors out here and to allow the people who have paid the good money, the hard-earned money, to get the most out of their gun.
Ken goes the extra mile. Ken takes his guns, and when he sells them, he offers this class to learn how to shoot the gun. And it's amazing, there's so many newer shooters here that never shot past 200 yards. And Ken is providing this for them to learn that gun. Ken just goes the extra mile when he with this. He is a very involved gunsmith with the customer.
Just push it forward. There you go, lock it down. Now what we want people to get out of our class out here is we want them to get the fundamentals and the understanding of what it takes to do long-range precision shooting. One of the major things is wind reading, building proper shooting positions. There's a lot of things that go into precision shooting that you just don't learn off the internet or read in a book.
On target, on scope.
When Ken started mentioning 1,000-yard shots, I looked at him and laughed. Everything I've ever done has been at the most 400 yards, and now to think about twice plus more is pretty mind-boggling.
No matter how good you are, you always got to come back to the fundamentals of marksmanship. It doesn't change. Whether you're shooting off that tank trap or prone or off that shooting house, it's the fundamentals of marksmanship. They don't change. You need to have a good position, right? And a good position generally revolves around 3 points of contact with your support structure or the ground or wherever you are. So building a good position is kind of number one, right? All right, breathing. We got to learn how to breathe properly. So between shots and that sort of thing, you continue breathing, but you exhale to your normal respiratory pause, focus on your crosshairs, squeeze the trigger. Trigger control is the biggie. I want to see everybody's finger at a 90 degree to the trigger and pull it straight back. It's just a slow squeeze while you're focusing on the crosshairs. Fundamentals of marksmanship.
What's your scope doing?
Oh yeah, it's getting wiggly, bro.
All right, now flatten your feet out. Can you tell me when you're on target? See the difference?
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen it grow. It's quite an event. The customers tend to love it, and I think it builds a better, tighter bond between the shooter, the rifle, the coaches, and the rifle manufacturer.
There's 4 targets out there. I'll primarily be shooting the one on the far end. It's the number 1 target. That way, I don't want people shooting at the target I'm shooting at, because I'm not sure which bullet's which, because after you shoot a few times, it starts to get a little confusing as to which bullet hole you're looking at and where it's at.
So at the top of the target, we put a 1 and then 2, 3, 4, so you know which target board, and then each dot has a number 2. So that way the spotter can say, hey, shoot dot 3 on target 4. And then you know what you're doing.
It's not often you get a gun plumber having you come out and tuning your rifle up on the range while we're doing a class and you're getting your dope in. Usually you're getting your thing in the mail or through another FFL and having to figure it out on the fly.
Oh, you didn't dope down.
Son of a... Welcome to the club. We've all been there. And okay, before you do anything, lift up your right shoulder, your right arm. Let's put that in there. A little extra support.
Okay. There you go. So you should be a lot more stable now.
That help?
Everybody's pretty excited. A lot of guys shooting out a lot further than they ever thought they could, out past 1,000 yards.
When we come back,
A nice little grouping. This was a correction. His first shot was up here and he came down. We had him nice and tight in there. This guy right here, he had a first group right here, and then we brought him up, and that was the second group. So we got a couple of the guys that are shooting extremely well. Some of the other guys are starting to figure it out.
this is Modern Shooter. Modern Shooter is brought to you by Aguila Ammunition. Feed your firearm. By H&H Precision Rifles. Engineering precision rifles and components for the world's most demanding shooters. Sig Sauer Electro-Optics. See the difference. By Killer Innovations. Redefining the future of precision. By SecureIt. Intelligent firearm storage. And by Turnbull Restoration, specializing in the accurate restoration of historical metal finishes on period firearms. Be sure to check out Gun Digest online and on Facebook. There are plenty of precision rifle makers out there, but how many will actually train you to shoot them correctly? H&H is one of them.
Our target customer is anybody that is absolutely passionate about shooting. We want to breed passion into the industry. We want people to have a good time. We want people to embrace it. Some people will save up an entire year just to have an opportunity to buy one of our rifles and then come out and use it. Some people, they can buy 10 at a time, and they do at times. So our customer base can be anybody that's interested in long-range precision shooting.
The wind's a little tricky. How many of your elevation was good as you're going out, but you're off the left, you're off the right? Especially out here, are you starting to see that wind?
Yep.
Doing that now?
Yep.
Especially as you're observing for your shooter. So you want to get that little shooter checklist going on. What's the wind doing? And as you're observing for your shooter, give him an update. Right? Hold left, hold left. And Mike and I have shot together enough, and we do it together. As he's getting ready to take a shot and the wind's going, I'm like, I just give him constant little whisper, hey, favor left, favor left, favor left. All right, wind switch, right edge, right edge, right edge. So I'm just updating him all the time, all the time. I want him to concentrate on the damn crosshair and pulling the trigger.
And what I do is repeat the instructions back, just so shooter spotter dialogue. If he says right edge, I'll say right edge, and then I'll hold right edge.
Right, and sometimes you still can't catch up with it. As soon as you pull the trigger, it switches. Time of flight, by the time it gets there, it's, oh, sorry. Just the way it is. All right, so we'll go over wind a little bit more at the end of the day. But what I want to do now is you got good data. Everybody's comfortable with their data, right? We're going to start getting up in a little bit of elevated position. So that means we'll shoot off our packs, we'll put sticks, tripods, whatever you got, and we'll start working with what you've got and get you into good position and start taking down targets.
Get a good weapon check. Make sure before we go down in front of those muzzles There's nothing in that chamber. Every one of you get a good weapons check. Coaches, go ahead and check them. Help them out a little bit. Close your eye, act like you're asleep, and your partner will tell you open. He should be able to see your eye down through the scope.
There's a lot of things that goes into building a precision rifle. I mean, there's bore curvatures, there's machining processes, there's stress relieving, there's how we fixture our equipment and our products, the products we use in combination with our shooting products. And for example, you know, we'll run with Rias chassis, which has worked out very well for us and our shooters.
So we came out today to help support Ken and his shooting school because he uses our Rias chassis on almost every one of his builds. And we wanted to make sure that we were here supporting him in this endeavor and to make sure that that everybody had a positive experience. And I think a lot of people actually enjoy meeting the manufacturers and the people behind the scenes of the weapon that they're using.
Right here, we had a nice little grouping. This was a correction. His first shot was up here and he came down. We had him nice and tight in there. This guy right here, he had a first group right here, and then we brought him up, and that was the second group. So we got a couple of the guys that are shooting extremely well. Some of the other guys are starting to figure it out.
Okay, we're going to talk about the laser rangefinders. I know some of you have different ones. How many of you just get up there and hit it once and go, oh, I've got the range, and then start shooting? How many have done that? Okay, we want to get probably a series of them, 3 or 4 if we have the time to do it. And try to get as stable as you can as well, because it's a laser.
Started walking the weapons out past 1,000. I think some of the guys today actually were hitting the steel out at 1,400. So a lot of these guys are first-time shooters, never shot past maybe 300 as far as long-range shooters, and they did really well. The weapon systems are proven. They took instruction well, and it was a good day.
Everything went really good. Everything was safe. And all the equipment was working flawlessly. Today was a good day. Perfect weather, a little overcast. Wind wasn't real terrible, but we had enough to deal with. So the guys got to play with that a little bit, and I think they did really good. They learned a lot. Decided to take some drones out, and we were kind of do a drone shooting a drone, and somebody shot one of our drones. Got a little too close. It got in the path of one of the targets and exploded it.
I mean, we just bought this thing. It's brand new. Like, here's the camera. I'm gonna go get a body bag.
I'm gonna put it on the dirt mound.
Yeah, okay.
He totally took out the battery.
Yeah, he just hit it at the heart.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is Modern Shooter.
Poor guy.
Next.
Welcome back to Modern Shooter from the Rock Lake Rifle Range in St. John, Washington. Today we sat in on a gun training session courtesy of Ken Hagan, who heads up H&H Precision Rifles.
And so, of course, he builds a great rifle. He puts a lot of attention to detail into it. But then, instead of just, hey, setting the rifle and you're on your own, Ken rents a nice facility. He goes to the effort to get great instructors out here to walk them through, to show them how to use their gun.
He's got a good reputation and a good product. He takes care of his customers, invites them out to these schools, and gets them tuned up on their rifles.
It exceeds what I expected. You can obviously see the expertise in the design coming from the construction industry, and being an engineer and architect, I look at design very closely. The precision in this is phenomenal.
We had a good time. I feel like everybody here learned a whole lot. Everybody's pretty excited. We did some positional shooting, got them up on the sticks and the tripods a little bit, got them out of their element, little unstable platform, and taught them a little bit of trigger timing. So no, it went really well.
We started the first H&H Precision last year. It worked out fantastic. This year we've added on with the new shoot tower and stuff, so we're just looking forward to the next year and the next year, and probably make it a little bit bigger and get more of the great people in this industry coming in and helping support this.
We had so many different dynamics to this class that students were able to get out. We were hitting steel out past 1,000 yards, out to 14 from sitting positions and kneeling positions. It's not just the prone positions that we teach out here in this class. We teach all the different positions and how to actually execute long-range precision shooting. So that's what kind of makes us a little bit unique. Mover stages went great. Every student was hammering the movers. Movers were out at 485 yards. A small mover, but during the whole entire process, they were on them quickly. It's kind of funny, as always, you know, Carlos Taylor, he's always up to some devious trick of some sort, and people were real happy. They were pounding the mover, having a great time, and lo and behold, Carl comes out and says, okay, you're hitting the mover. Everybody was pretty excited. Now all headshots. Now the headshots on his mover is about that big, 480 yards, traveling literally 3.5 miles an hour. You should have seen the look on their faces. They look like somebody just like took their birthdays away. 5 minutes later, the entire class just hammering that head.
I just love seeing the students learn. I love seeing the gratification that they get from doing something that they almost thought was impossible. When you're looking out there and you can't even hardly see your target, to be able to reach out there and touch it and hear that ring, it's just really gratifying to see them react to that, because they just did something that they didn't think that they could do. And we prove it to them that it is possible if you have the right equipment, you set it up correctly, you put all your fundamentals to work. It is achievable, and I just love seeing it. I love being around it.
We had a real good success this weekend, and we can't wait to come back next year and do it again.